Hello and welcome to Naval Action. This is VMAQ2.x. It's Saturday, June 14. It's about 2:45 in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, US. There are 469 online, or 467, it just changed, and 83 battles. Okay, it's been about 7 days since my last video, and the question is, what have I been doing for those 7 days? Well, the answer is not a whole hell of a lot. Uh, I reached my last video was when I reached the max crafting level, and that was a goal. That was my main goal. That was my main focus since the game restarted. I was already had max rank, so that's not a grind I'm worrying about. The grind for me in the game was crafting, get to max craft level, and I made it. And then I was like the dog that caught the car. What do you do now? And I kind of spent the last week. I took one day off. The day after I reached max craft level, I didn't play at all. I watched a NASCAR race and enjoyed that. But then I started playing again the next day after that, and I was like, uh, I don't know what to do. Because I've kind of lost my purpose for the game. My purpose for this game since April has been to get to max craft. Now what's my purpose? And I'm trying to figure that out now. I think that's why this game kind of has these drops in population at times, is because there's new people coming into this game all the time. And then, they're starting at the bottom, and some of them love the grind and they stick with it. Some of them find they don't like the grind and they quit the game. But those of the players that have reached the max level and there's no more grind, there's basically no more grind once you reach max craft level and max rank. What's the grind after that? I'm asking, please tell me in the comments. There to me there is no grind. You kind of settle in. Maybe you join a clan and you participate in the RVR. Uh, that doesn't really interest me that much. I would love to participate on a part-time basis, and maybe I'll do some of that. I've had one or two offers and they're interesting, but right now I'm kind of trying to decide what I want to do next. And I would love to hear your suggestions in the comments. One topic I would like to discuss is a video or two ago, I crafted some sturdy ships. And when you would hover the mouse over the stats of a sturdy ship, you would see it has a speed penalty. So this Rotterdam that I have, it's a new Rotterdam. It is a very sturdy blue. And you can see that it has a slight speed penalty. And so I was saying that sturdy means slow. And then one of the viewers came back at me in the comments and said, "You're totally incorrect. Sturdy does not mean slow. What you're failing to realize is that ballast means a lot in the game. And I guess it just shows more on a sturdy ship." But so I decided, well, let's do an experiment. What I'm going to do, this is the Rotterdam. It's got my basic loadout of repairs and ammunition. So it's at 376 out of a total of 3.7 thousand. 3,700 is the max it can hold. But right now it only has 376. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all the equipment off. You can see the only other equipment I got on here is cannons, and cannons are also weight. So I'm going to strip all this equipment off. And we're going to see what the empty penalty is. So with just cannons on, you can see that the negative has increased from what it was. It was like a 0.93 originally. Now it's a 1.25 negative to the speed. So it's actually getting slower the more emptier I make it. So let's strip the guns off. Well, this is frustrating here. Got to put them here, and then I can move them up here. Okay, so all the guns, the ship is totally empty. And it's got a negative 1.53 speed nerf. So we'll start loading things back on and we'll watch the speed change as it goes along. Let's see if that matches this chart here. Yep. So first thing is we'll put the cannons back on. Okay, all the cannons are loaded. So it went from a 1.53 to a 1.25. So it's getting faster. So now I'm going to load the basic equipment. Ball, powder, chain, hull repair, and rig repairs. So that's my basic loadout. You can see now that the speed is now a 0.96 negative. It's all the way up to 10.22. So what's the max speed that I can attain, and how much more ballast do I need? Currently, like I said at the beginning of this little clip here, 376.3 out of 3.7K capacity in the hold. So how much more do I need to add? So what we'll do is we'll add in blocks of 700, which is 1,000 oak logs. So now we're in the positive speed zone. It's got a buff. We're up to 1K in the hold. So basically almost a 1/3 of our hold capacity. We'll add another 700. Another buff. We're up to 11.35, a buff of 1.17. We're at 100% speed. And it's basically 1/3 of the hold. We'll add another 700. Okay, now the speed is going back down. We're down to 99%. 2.4K out of 37%. But you can see that we still have a good speed. So that viewer was 100% correct. Ballast matters. And you want to load your ship up to its best speed. You might have to add more of whatever. So that's like a little inside the game is figuring out the right possible load to give your ship the best possible in-game speed. because I was going on the assumption that it's already got a penalty. If I add more weight, it's just going to get worse. But it actually got better up to a point, and then it starts falling off again. So that viewer is absolutely correct. Let me look them up and give them a shout out. It was Daniel DG Cachorro Gamer. He said, very sturdy is more HP, nothing to do with speed, mate. And he's correct. It's just a matter of finding the right balance. So, shout out to you. Okay, let's do a quick map update on the RVR. We can see that Great Britain still holds the Yucatan. It still holds the west side of Florida. And it's slowly getting pushed out of Cuba. It used to have half of Cuba, and now it's got just these bottom side ports. Spain still holds the east coast of the United States, the Atlantic coast here. And looks like they're trying to get back into Cuba, and they're also still fighting over Hispaniola. They've got a fairly firm grip on this part of the South American coast. There's been a hot bunch of combat in this area. The French took all of these ports at one point, and then the Spanish have been pushing back the last week, recapturing ports, and a lot of port battles the last few days. The French are still holding on to their area here in Central America. This portion of South America, and then the southern half of the Windward Islands they're holding, and then the pirates have consolidated here up in the Leeward Islands, and Puerto Rico's being fought over. And that's pretty much the map status. Okay, here we are in the open world. There's an Indefatigable up ahead there. So I had a request from, let me bring up his name here. Peter Casillas, 4390, shout out. He wanted me to do an example AI fight. I'm not exactly sure I'm the guy that should be giving anybody examples on fighting the AI or anything. PvP, AI, I'm not the best at this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to position yourself. See the wind down here? We want to have the wind to our backs. So you want to kind of get behind them and tag them. And the idea is that gives you control of the wind. Now, if you keep control of the wind, that's good. If you don't, that could be bad. Because having control of the wind basically gives you control of the fight. So here we are, getting behind them. Go into battle. Now, you can load chain if you want, if you're fighting a fast ship. But if it's a slow ship, you should be okay. So the first thing I do is I turn off 8. I select my sail setting. And if I'm going to load chain, I'll select chain now or not. So I'm going to not. And what turning off 8 does is that moves that crew to the sail and gun crew to help you get everything running up faster. You got to do crew management is important. And then once I got my sails all the way up and my guns loaded, I'll click 8 back on. That way they're prepared in case there's any fires. You also want to set your R and your V keys where they should be. So you'll see he's going to turn, and then he'll turn back again. So I'm going to start getting myself headed his way. I don't want to be giving him my side as much as possible. Okay, so the sails are fully up. Cannons are loading. I've given them just kind of a bad angle to shoot at. Start closing the distance. So he's turning to get a shot. So stay skinny. This is going to be a close shot, so I'm going to select the 100. Now he's shot, I can turn and shoot. He's trying to turn back through the wind. So he's going to have his guns reloaded pretty quickly here. So we want to give him an angle, if possible. A little bit of damage there. Now we can turn. Few hits there. So we want to turn back and get our other guns on them. And also give him as narrow a target as possible for his. Chain. Shot chain that time. It's funny how they'll do that. we're going to turn through the wind now. If you're not using the side, go ahead and turn it off. Turn my 8 guys on in case I catch fire. Couple of okay stern rigs. Could be better. More chain. See, his left side's his worst side, so I want to try to keep that side where I can shoot him. But they just turn so good. he just pirouettes. If I keep turning, he'll turn back. That's basically him done there. He should start sinking. He's sinking. Yep, there we go. Ooh, I got a book. I can't believe it. I got a book. It's my second book since the patch. Book of the Void. Ooh, that'll fetch a pretty penny if I sell it. So there's an example of an AI battle. Not sure if it's going to help you. Like I said, I try to keep his wounded side to me, and oh, there's all kind of ships around here. So I'm gonna take that book back in port. Okay, post-mortem on that battle. Let's, I made a point of it before I tagged him that you want to have the wind. You want to have control of the wind. And then in the battle, I promptly lost control of the wind. You know, and once you lose control of the wind, you're reacting to the moves that they make instead of them reacting to the moves that you make. But it just seems that sometimes that's the way that it works out. So you need to adapt your tactics and press on. And I felt I did okay on that one. I gave him not so many opportunities to shoot me, and I had a few good rakes on him because he was constantly turning back through the wind. And the AI really does that well. And it's frustrating at times. So I will say this, position yourself so you have control of the wind at the beginning of the fight. Try to maintain that control, but if you can't, make them pay when they show their backside to you. and focus down one side. I was focusing his, I believe it was left side, and so when I could get my broadside on his left side, I was hitting that. But he constantly kept showing me his stern while he was turning through the winds. And so, hey, I'll shoot that all day long because if you're shooting the stern, you're knocking his middle structure bar down. And once you get that to zero, he sinks. Even if his side armor is all the way up, if you knock the middle bar all the way down, he'll sink because he's flooding. So, you know, shoot that stern if they show it. Other than that, I hope it helped you. If it did, please say so in the comments. If it didn't, please say so in the comments. Tell me what I need to show you. And thank you for watching.